Hello everyone, today is 9th of March. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, first of all, let's have a look on today's GS folder. So today we'll take a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., a Gandhian follower and one of the most prominent civil rights activists into the USA for the civil rights movement. He says, "Education without morals is like a ship without a compass, merely wandering nowhere." So, this particular quote highlights the importance of the value based education, which have also been recognized in National Education Policy of 1986 and the New Education Policy of 2020. So, guys, the education is not just rote learning of the facts, but it also is the improvement of character. Guys, please utilize this idea into your GS paper number 2 into the answers related to the education as well as into the GS paper number 4 ethics. So, that is all. And now let's take the newspaper analysis. Now, taking up the first article. So, guys, this article has been taken up from the Hindu newspaper as well as the Indian Express newspaper, and it talks about the Supreme Court's decision to re examine the 50% cap onto the quota. Now, before going into this particular article, let's take some of the background information. Now, guys, you might be knowing that state uses the affirmative action or the reservation in order to give the level playing field to the socially excluded or downtrodden sections, and into this particular capacity the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, as well as OBCs are being given the reservations. Now, guys, OBCs were given the reservations after the Mandal Commission recommended it. Now, as the reservations are being given, obviously it reduces the number of seats for the general category candidates. And into this particular capacity, into the Indra Sahani judgment of 1992, a 9 judge bench of Supreme Court laid down the principle of Lakshman Rekha, or simply a Rubicon. It was said that into a particular year, the number of posts which are being reserved for these categories should not be more than 50%. Now, guys, into the past few years, it has been seen that repeatedly states have breached this 50% limit. For example, earlier Tamil Nadu has started giving 69% reservation for the OBCs, and now, guys, Maharashtra had constituted a new law, that is the Maharashtra State Reservation for Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Act of 2018, where 12% to 13% quota benefit for the Maratha community has been given, and it specifically takes the reservation amount to more than 50%. And, guys, against this particular thing, there was a backlash which was shown. Now, guys, there is also one more thing that is coming into the context. See, when Indra Sahani judgment was decided, at that point of time, it was said that there could be some of the exceptional circumstances only when this 50% limit can be breached. Now, government's justification for this Maharashtra law is that it is a case of exceptional circumstances because Maratha community have no place to go if this reservation will not be there. So therefore, they need to breach this 50% limit. Now, apart from this Maharashtra case, guys, there is also one more matter which had happened into the meanwhile. See, 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act has been passed by the government of India, and by this 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act, two of the articles have also been added into the Constitution of India. First is the article number 338B, and second is the article number 342A. Now, by article 338B, National Commission for the Backward Classes have been, and by the virtue of article number 342A, the power has been given to the president that he can specify that who are actually the socially and educationally backward communities into a state. And it has been said that by giving the power to the president, the federal structure has been disturbed, because earlier the states were more empowered, but now the power domain has been shifted to the central government. Moreover, there is also one more issue. It has been provided that by the virtue of 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act, the parliament has been given a power that they will now include a community into the central list for the socially and backward classes, and on to basis of that only the reservation benefits will be given. So the power structure has been changed. So, guys, all these particular matters are now to be decided, and it entails a broader scrutiny. So, therefore, the Supreme Court has now sought the views of the state government that whether there is a need to reconstitute a larger bench to see that whether this 50% quota or the 50% limit is now to be revised, because the social conditions might have been changed. So, guys, this is all into this particular direction. I hope that you have understood it, guys. Very important for our GS paper number 2. So, that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, friends, this particular article has been taken from the Indian Express newspaper and it talks about the rising number of vacancies into the National Commission for Minorities. And it will be important for your GS paper number 2, where you have to assess the mechanisms that have been established by the government for the betterment of the vulnerable sections of society. Now, guys, see, when we talk about the National Commission for Minorities, it was actually established in 1992 after passing of the National Commission for Minorities Act, and as per this act, there needs to be 7 members into the National Commission for Minorities. One will be the chairperson, other will be the vice chairperson, and 5 other members. And these members need to be the person of eminence. And who appoints them? Guys, the Ministry of Minority Affairs refers some of the name to the Prime Minister's office, and then the executive actually makes the appointment. So this is the provision. And now, guys, if we see the condition of the National Commission for Minorities, then it can be seen that the 6 positions out of the 7, they are lying vacant, or even the position of the chairperson is not filled. And therefore, the constitutional safeguards, the protections, the mechanisms for the minorities, they are not functioning properly. Into this particular capacity, the Delhi High Court has directed the center that they should be filled expeditiously, and within the 1 week, the center should tell or the timeline that how they will be proceeding into this particular regard. Even, guys, earlier the Delhi High Court pulled the center, but the center replied that only it has been provided that the person of eminence are to be appointed, but into the act no timeline has to be given. And into this thing, the judiciary has shown an anguish that the minorities are the vulnerable sections. Even under the constitution, they have been provided the safeguard, but if there will be no body for them, then how they will seek the justice? Now, guys, into the context of social justice, it shows that many a times government becomes ignorant to the plight of the minorities, and therefore such example can be given into your answers also. Now, friends, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it talks about the conditions of the schools and Anganwadis, and one critical indicator for their well being has been shown here, that is the availability of tap water or piped water. Now, what had happened? The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Water Resources has published their reports and had said that only 48.5% of Anganwadis in India and 53.3% of schools, they are having the tap water connection. However, there are some states where conditions are even very much pathetic. For example, in Uttar Pradesh, only 8% of the schools are having the tap water supply, whereas into the West Bengal, it is approximately 11%, and in Jharkhand, it is approximately 13%. And now, when we see into the Anganwadis, the data are even more bad. We can see that only 2 to 6% of the Anganwadis in Assam, Jharkhand, and Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Bengal are having the tap water connection. Now, this scenario is after the 100-day campaign for 100% coverage, which was run by Ministry of Jal Shakti, has been completed. So, this dismal performance is actually a very bad thing, because now, guys, after the COVID-19 pandemic, the schools are again preparing to be opened up, and to maintain the hand hygiene, water availability is the basic thing that is required. But, guys, such low numbers indicate that government needs to do much more onto this particular front. However, guys, there are some of the states which have been very good performer also. For example, the Andhra Pradesh, Goa, Tamil Nadu, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Telangana, and Punjab, they have reached the 100% tap water coverage. So these states are to be applauded for their efforts. So that is all, guys, about this particular thing. Guys, please do utilize this particular data. It is by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Water Resources. So that is all. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, this particular article has been taken from the Indian Express newspaper, and guys, we can utilize it as an example or as a case study. See, many a times we see one particular dimension that the cinema can play an integrating role not within the country but across the countries also. See here, such one example is given. Now, you obviously might have heard the name of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who was the founding father and the first prime minister of the Bangladesh. He was very much instrumental for gaining the independence for Bangladesh. Now, he was born on March 17, 1920, and therefore the 2020 was the centenary year of his birth. Now, guys, this particular event was utilized by the Bangladesh Film Development Corporation and National Film Development Corporation of India. Now, NFDC is under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, and jointly they are making a movie on the Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, that how he shaped described the struggle for Bangladesh and how he was the chief architect for the Bangladesh's creation. Now, though the movie was to be released in 1920, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the work got stopped, and now again the movie has been resumed. Now, guys, as on such a towering personality, the India and Bangladesh are jointly collaborating, it will further be integrating the warmness of the relation between the two countries, and this could be quoted as an example that how cinema plays an integrating role. Now, guys, the name of the movie will be the Bang Bandhu. So, friends, please do utilize this particular article. Please do quote the name also if possible, as it exponentially increases the marks that you can get into the paper. That is all. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, this article has also been taken from the Indian Express, and guys, here we can see one of the keyword that is nowadays into the news, that is the retail 4.0. Now, first of all, retail sector means the sector where the goods are directly being sold to the consumers, and it majorly constitutes the grocery item, clothing, FMCG goods, etc. Now, see, retail 4.0 means that there is a transformation into the retail sector that has come when the technology enabled collaborations have been made. Now, guys, suppose there is a platform of the Flipkart, and onto the Flipkart, suppose I am a shop owner of a kirana goods, I can list my goods and they could be sold into the entire country. So this is the retail 4.0, and it will change the landscape of the Indian retail sector. And into this particular direction, a report has been published by the NASCOM and Technopack. According to them, online and offline retail may add up to 12 million of new jobs, and the exports worth 125 billion. And guys, the importance of retail we can also see by the fact that the share of the retail sector in 2019-20 was approximately 10% of India's GDP, and 35 million workforce is involved into the retail sector. And now, as much more jobs will be added and it will be adding to the export also, it could be a major driver of India's economic growth. So, guys, please do quote this particular dimension. Please keep in mind the report is published by NASCOM and Technopack. That is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this article has been taken from the Indian Express newspaper, and it talks about an urgent need that the public places needed to be reclaimed for the women as well as for men. Now, guys, as the COVID-19 pandemic came, we all were struck into the homes. But for the women, it was nothing new. It is very much normal for them. Now, into this particular direction, a survey has also been taken up. That is the Indian Human Development Survey, which was conducted by NCAER, that is the National Council for Applied Economic Research. According to them, 18% of the women in India, they do not go to the kirana shop. 90% of the women, they don't go alone to the kirana shops, and 11% of women just have ever attended the gram sabhas. So we can see that how women are excluded from the public places and they are confined into their homes. Now, into this particular capacity, there is the patriarchal mindset which is leading to this. And guys, secondly, women also themselves avoid the public places. What is the major reason? So here the reason has been explained that large number of women, they fear a kind of a sexual harassment, and therefore they don't venture outside the home. And into this particular dimension, the World Bank economist Girija Borkar has also provided that even after having the high marks, girls in Delhi University chose to attend lower quality colleges so that the sexual harassment can be avoided while traveling to the colleges. So therefore, there is a need to create more safe public places so that women can participate in it. Now, guys, there have been the data also that how women are missing the public place. For example, a study was carried out by an NGO in Bhopal, that is the Safety Pin. Now, they had provided that 95% of the women feel unsafe using public transport, 89% feel unsafe in the marketplace, 80% feel unsafe waiting for public transport, while 76% feel unsafe onto the roads or footpath. So, what is to be done? Now, here it has been provided that many of the simple solutions can solve this particular problem. For example, improving the lighting conditions around the roads, buses, train stations. And after that, there also is a need to bring more and more women into the public spaces so that the other women, they don't feel isolated. So therefore, more women are to be hired as drivers, as bus conductors. And guys, we can also take the example of Lahore's pink buses, as how more and more women are being utilized into the public transportation. And even we can take the inspiration from the freedom struggle of India, where more and more women, they were brought into the struggle and they were into the forefront. The women such as the Sarojini Naidu, they have led entire freedom struggle. So therefore, taking inspiration from them, we need to now create a post-pandemic world where women are brought into the public places. So guys, this is all about this particular article. Please do utilize this particular dimensions into the social issues of GS paper number 1 as well as into the social justice of GS paper number 2 into the women related issues. That is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, friends, this particular article has been taken from the Indian Express newspaper and it talks about the draft personal data protection bill that is underway. Now, there is one particular provision which is appearing to be problematic. But before going into that particular thing, we first of all need to understand that what is the data anonymization. Now, see, the data anonymization simply means that suppose I collected some personal data, that is the browsing history of Mr. A. Now, into this personal data, I will do some kind of engineering and I will remove all kind of aspects which can lead me that this data is of Mr. A. So, anonymization simply means a type of a sanitization into the data. Now, guys, still the data becomes relevant and even the privacy of Mr. A will not be hampered. Now, guys, it has been provided into the article that there is one specific section, that is the section number 91 of the personal data protection bill, where the power has been given to the central government which can direct the data fiduciary. Data fiduciary means the agencies which are holding the data, that anonymized data's access should be given to government or to any other agency. Now it has been said that such kind of provision will be problematic into the times to come, because it has been said that there is no data which is permanently anonymized. There are algorithms, mathematical models, artificial intelligence that has been advanced to such a stage that it can again re-identify the users from which the data is coming, and then it will be the problem for privacy. Guys, it has been said that if we take 3 or 4 data sets and we put it on each other, then the patterns can be rediscovered. Now, there are the provisions for that particular thing also. For example, it has been said that the companies would be held liable under the upcoming data protection bill if there is a kind of a re-identification has happened. But guys, the re-identification will not be done by the company but by the third parties who will try to create the patterns. But still, who will be coming into the problem? The company who first time collected the data. So it has been said that this section 91's provision should entirely be removed in order to ensure that the privacy of the individuals is not hampered. So guys, that is all into this particular article. I hope that you have understood it. And now guys, as the final bill will be coming, if these kind of concepts are very much clear, it will make very much easy for you to understand it. So friends, this is all about the important articles into the today's newspaper analysis. I hope that you have understood it. Thank you so much.